So we're back now, and it was the harness. Harness wasn't plugged in. And as you see, we got up to a 411, actually it went up to 418 PSI. And now that the fans are hooked up, we're cruising down here below 150. And now we could go to a normal cycle. And let me get rid of the little bit of refrigerant I have stuck in my line here. So I'll crack open the low side, the high is closed. Crack open. Come on. Crack open that line. And it just dumped the little bit of liquid refrigerant that was in this hose right into the low side. And you can see that little lump right there. That was the little tiny amount of refrigerant that was trapped in here that went into the low and raised the suction line pressure. So now we can graft a normal flow of pressure with this variable displacement compressor. And let's see what our temperatures are doing. We're coming out 42 out the dash right now. Let's graph that. So we're put a grafting of this with the customer's repair order. Prove everything is done properly. I'm curious to see what the humidity is. We're almost 80 out the supply and about 35 in the return, which you can see the return is open right there. See right there? Okay, now there. Either open or we're closed. We're closed. Yeah. So this is where the air goes through. It drops right down on top of the filter, right into the fan, the squirrel cage fan, right into the evaporator. We're low, we're high there. What else do we have? Where is my choice? Ah, there we go. Okay, so right now we're on recycle. So let's get off recycle, and that air flap will move under there. So let's get the fresh air. Now we'll have fresh air come down. So now we're pulling the air, whatever air temperature this is up here, which is about 70 some degrees, 80 some degrees, 90 some degrees. So it's taking a mixture right through here. The colder air from here is being pulled around, and then the hotter air that's coming from the engine is there, and they're mixing, and so you'll get different temperatures across here. And the only place you can actually get your true mixed temperature, if you were to take your temperature, and when you really want to get exact and you really want to do some diagnosis, you pull your glove box, pull out, and stick your, if you could get through a hole down below, or put your thermometer, like one of the little wire ones, through the door of the air filter and put it just above your air filter, you'll get the whole mix of the air and you'll get a more true temperature instead of picking off a temperature right here off the top. Because a lot of guys try to get an ambient temperature and say they lay it up here on the crown, and they'll have the little crowel right here with the little holes on it to get air. So they lay it right here on top of the plastic piece where the plastic comes right here, and it has all the holes right here, and they go, okay, I got my air temperature. Well, what's our air temperature right here? And that's, no, that's variable. There we go. You can see where I just laid it, I moved it. So right there, the air temperature is 85 degrees. So right there. So sitting at this point right here, we're 85 degrees. And as the engine warms, the exhaust manifold warms, the coolant warms, that temperature will go up as this air flows this direction. That's not the true temperature. Well, let's try this. Let's see what the air temperature right here is. Okay. So let's see what this air temperature is right about there. It's even hotter, or is it staying up? 85. And this will vary from vehicle to vehicle. And then, let's see what our air temperature. We stick it all the way back inside there. Now we're getting a mixed air temperature. 72, going down. So this is the true temperature of what's going over the evaporator. And even that is not exactly the true, because where air comes from the side right here, and air may be coming from the side right here, this temperature may be a few degrees hotter than this temperature, and they're combining together, and that's still not the true temperature until you get to the other side of the filter. Basically, if you're all the way to the evaporator is when you get the true. But watch our temperature. Look at our temperature. 66, 63. You see that? And what did I do? All I did was do a different placement of wherever I took my air. So anytime you take air out here, you're always going to get a false reading. Your true air is down at your evaporator coil. So all these guys who spent all these years trying to use ambient temperature and thinking it was being pulled through a cow, especially if they have the hood up. Because when you have the hood up, you're getting this air. When you have the hood down, if you could get this and you could stick it down inside there, close it all back up, you have a seal right here that seals right here, and then it stops the hot air. You close the hood, now you're getting the true air temperature that's going into the cabin. Unless you're doing that, you're not getting the true air temperature. And then you could take this one step further. You don't use the gauges, you use the remote little sensors, and you stick the little pressure transducers on each one of these if it doesn't interfere with the hood. And you go for a test drive and you use your laptop and you drive down the road and you find maybe some sort of intermittent problem where it only happens when it's driving down the road. So I've had to do that before. Okay, I will catch you guys later. I think I've shown you enough on this vehicle for today. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.